Oh, here's your Backstage pass.
Right, quiet on the set.
Action!
Welcome to Sedona's Backstage Pass with Shondra, presented by the Dahl Restaurant Group. This is your inside look into culture, curators, and creative artists. And now, your host, Shondra.
Welcome, everybody, to Sedona's Backstage Pass, where you get to hear stories of the inside scoop on all kinds of wonderful people here in Sedona and the Verde Valley, stories that you would never know unless you tuned in here at Sedona's Backstage Pass every Saturday at 10 a.m. So, first of all, I just want to thank Mellow Mountain Radio, 106.5 FM and 780 AM for having this show on and inviting me to do this. I absolutely love doing it, and thank you again for listening, everybody. You can also find it on Apple Podcasts. Before I bring my guests out, I want to tell you about some things that are happening this weekend. First of all, Memorial Day is coming up, and you can go to Posse Grounds Pavilion at 8:30 to be a part of the Memorial Day celebration. It is their annual Memorial Day celebration, and they have several speakers coming up, some music. It's a wonderful, wonderful event, and I want to thank Savco for putting that on. They do it every year. It's fantastic. And then later at 11:30, if you want lunch, you want to make sure that you head over to the Elks Lodge, which is located on 110 Airport Road. They're having a Memorial Day lunch, and it's only $15, and it's going to be delicious. Make sure you check that out. Oh, and I have to tell you about something I did. This is really fun. So I decided I was going to take a session, an XO Mind Wellness session at Medically Yours. And this is the coolest thing ever. It is supposed to kind of relax you, open up your mind, help your nervous system. So I decided, I thought, why not? I'm going to try this. So I went in. I booked the appointment, obviously, at Medically Yours, and a big shout out to Stacy Davidson, who's the owner. And they put this unit on your head, and you just relax for 20 to 30 minutes. And you just feel really rejuvenated and great, and didn't think much of it. And then about 2 or 3 days later, I checked in with Stacy because she wanted to know, well, do you feel anything? Do you feel any better? Do you feel less stressed out? And I realized that I started dreaming vivid dreams again. I hadn't had those kind of dreams for a while. Were you really dreaming? And I was like, oh, you know what? I've been dreaming. So I thought that was cool. And I just wanted to mention this because if you're interested in something that's supposed to help your stress and help you just begin to feel better about everything. And we're all so anxious, aren't we? And so I just wanted to mention this because I found it very helpful. And it's EXO Mind Wellness. And if you want to make an appointment, just look them up, Google them. It's Medically Yours in West Sedona. So just wanted to make sure to mention that. Okay. I am so happy to have my guest for this show. Oh, I've known this man for 23 years. Actually, when my husband and I, Tom Jefferson, my husband, when we moved here in 2002, we promptly met Pat because he was the editor of the Red Rock newspaper. That's Larson Newspapers, y'all. Any of you get those newspapers? So anyway, both of us immediately fell in love with him. And then, not too soon after that, he became the executive director of the Sedona International Film Festival. And it is really, truly because of Pat that the film festival has grown into a 9-day amazing festival. I could go on and on and on, but instead of doing that, let me welcome our guest, Executive Director of the Sedona International Film Festival, Patrick Schweiss.
Hey, Shondra, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you for that glowing introduction. Now I got to try to live up to that.
No, you do every day.
Thank you.
You have brought so much to this town. And you're a community person.
Very much so.
I mean, but
yeah. Thanks.
Where were you before you were here in Sedona? Just
so
curious.
Before I was here, so I met my wife Elizabeth, who's a native, born and raised in Sedona. Elizabeth Larson.
Yes.
I met her at Arizona State. I'm a Minnesota boy. I'm from a tiny little town in Minnesota, graduating class of 28, Gibbon, Minnesota. 800 people lived in our town on a good day when we were all there. So I came from a very, very small place, and I went to Arizona State, and that's where I met Elizabeth, my wife. We met on the yearbook staff there. So So then I took a job right out of college, and right when we got married. We got married in 1990 here in Sedona, and we were the first private event at Tlaquepaque. The original owners of Renee's hosted our reception.
Oh, I love that.
So it was very, very cool. Now they do private events all the time, but it was kind of cool back then to be the first. And I took a job with a publishing company, a yearbook publishing company in Richmond, Virginia, for 2 years, and loved it. I'd probably still be there, but Elizabeth, you don't take a native Sedonan out of Sedona if she loves it so much. So I called up her mom and dad, who founded and ran the Red Rock News, and said, I didn't marry into the family to join the family business, but you got anything for me? Because your daughter's miserable and I want to bring her back to Sedona. So that's how that whole thing started. So in 1992, we moved back here, and for 12 years, I worked for the Red Rock News.
I wonder how many locals know this. I mean, really,
yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know that. That's what this show's about, you know?
Yeah, I don't know that they do, because it's in a way it's ancient history, but in a way that's what shaped me. I mean, I met you and Tom.
I know.
I met all the movers and shakers because of working at the Red Rock
Yes.
News, which helped me immensely when I took over the film festival because I had those contacts already built in, which was really wonderful.
Great.
And that's what it is. That old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It is so important in this town that it's who you know. I mean, this town, this community has built our film festival, and it's these connections that have built our festival and our sponsorships and our audience members. I'm so grateful because this community is outstanding in the support that it gives to the arts and to culture.
Yes, and what you've been giving to the arts, you're giving opportunities for artists like me, like Dev, Tom, all kinds of different artists. You're giving a great place to perform because you're doing more events now than ever.
Right.
And actually, you are starting an actual regional theater, or it's an equity theater, right?
Sedona Professional Theater Company. Exactly. Thank you. And so it's kind of exciting, and for us it's wonderful and it's rewarding because so many of the venues that used to host live music, whether it was a restaurant, a bar, whatever it was, have either closed down or they've stopped the live music portion. And all these incredible local musicians and talented people who live in Sedona don't have a place to perform. And we always built this. When we built 13 years ago, when we opened the Mary D. Fisher Theater, we did it to become a community theater space. Yes, movies will always be our bread and butter. That's what we are. We're the Sedona Film Festival. But we wanted to create a space that could transform into a live venue for musicians, for theater people, for comedians, for poets, to become the place that they could call home. So 3 years ago, we opened the Alice Gill Sheldon Theater. So it's just kind of now we've got that ability to do it in two different places. So it's very exciting for us. It's exciting to see what we become in this community, and it's really fun to see the community gathering that takes place there every day, every week, whether it's the films, whether it's the live shows, whether it's theater, whether it's music. It's just really rewarding to see what happens at the theater.
I know, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful space,
Thank
too.
you.
I had the privilege of working there several times. This last time with the Dead Quilter Society.
It was great. It was wonderul on our stage. It was
you.
so fun to see that. And so fun to see that all come together.
We've got some great photos from there, too,
yes,
by the way.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Oh, man.
Thank you, Larry.
Right? And also Greg Lawson.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Just some great photos. So, okay. So we just found out about your past of coming here. That's really good. So many new people here, right? And COVID changed everything.
Yeah, COVID changed everything. Well, and especially for theaters. We all panicked when COVID hit. Because we're all like, oh my gosh, we're closed, but how do we keep our members engaged? So we did the only thing that all movie theaters knew is let's send them out streaming things. And now everyone got used to streaming during COVID. So now it's rebuilding and bringing people back to theaters again to experience it the way it should be in a communal setting with other people. And luckily, we have bounced back. Several of our colleagues have not, but we have bounced back thanks to this community and thanks to our audience members.
And thanks to your resourcefulness. I always say that it's resourcefulness, resilience. This is what it was. Because I remember that year, I was in your festival that year, 2020.
Yes, you were. Yes,
and then everything shut down after that. Yeah. But what happened was you guys put your heads together. You said, okay, we can't do our normal festival. So this was after the festival, right?
Yeah.
So when we got to February of 21, you were like, well, let's do something in June. We just moved it to June. You just became resourceful.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful.
I believe we are the only film festival among our colleagues that never missed a live festival. A lot of them went completely virtual the years of COVID, and some are still doing a hybrid, part COVID, part virtual, part live. We had a live festival every single year and have never missed one. And I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of our volunteers, our board, our sponsors, our audience members.
Yes.
So it's been really cool to be able to say that.
Yeah, and you turned around and you also had masks that were the Sedona International Film Festival masks.
Branding,
I have
all about
one.
branding.
I love it. I know, but you turned it, and that's what's so great. You're a problem solver. You just go, can't do that? Let's do this.
Let's shift.
Yes.
And luckily,
Love
I
that.
have a team that
you do.
pivots on the fly.
Great team.
I have a great team that have been with me for many, many, many years, and it's so rewarding.
So I know that you deal with a lot of celebrities because that night, and it's really grown. I mean, like you've got some major players coming in.
Yeah.
I know you had, Richard Dreyfuss. And you've had so many different people, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, who was it? Who were 2 or 3 people that just, you couldn't censor them? I know it's a very strange, it's a strange question.
It's a strange question, but without question, it would be, and we hit the mother load this particular year, Cloris Leachman and Ed Asner. I mean, it was the most foul-mouthed, hilariously funny Q&A with both of them. You know, we were very fortunate because we had Valerie Harper, Ed,
yes,
and all of them. We had Valerie Harper, Cloris Leachman, Ed Asner. We were the only place to have 3 members of the Mary Tyler Moore Show on the stage at the same time.
I know.
Now, sadly, none of them are with us anymore.
I know.
But we have that. We have that captured. But it became this potty-mouthed, foul-mouthed, because that's how they interact with each other. And that's how it was behind the scenes on the set of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. And it was just an absolute outrageously funny thing. You know, Ed Asner became one of my very favorite guests of all times. He fell in love with us and with me personally from the first time he came here. He came here 5 times. Him and Andrew McCarthy were my very first celebrity guests at the first festival that I was executive director of back in 2005.
Awesome. Wow.
So Ed fell in love with our festival, with our community. And he was so funny because he's exactly opposite behind the scenes as he is when he's on stage. When he's on stage, he's on. I mean, he literally was, rest in peace, Ed, you were my favorite, but you knew this. He was a hashtag Me Too thing waiting to happen. Because he was the old school that would pinch someone's butt as they were going by. I'll never forget the first year, he was in a film with Maynard. Maynard, who owns the winery, Maynard James Keenan.
Yes.
And so Maynard got him drunk at his winery before he needed to appear with us. And these ladies were lined up to get autographs from Ed. And this one woman didn't have a piece of paper with her. She just had a marker, and he's like, "What do you want me to sign?" And jokingly, she said, "I guessed my breasts." And she whipped her shirt open, and Ed was signing her chest. And then all the women behind her go, "We want that too." So, I mean, and he was just in his glory, and it was hilarious. But he kept coming back. You know, he played Santa Claus in a film one year. And so to see him, how he could be on the stage, we showed this film to the kids and the schools. We bussed the schools over when he was Santa Claus in this particular movie. And it was late in his life, so he was in a wheelchair at that point. And he said, "Pat, I want you to wheel me out to the lobby. I want to greet every one of those kids." And about 300 kids gave him a high five, gave him a hug. You know, they only knew him as in Up, from the movie Up.
Right.
Carl Fredericks or whatever I think his character's name was. And these kids got to meet him. And then the last of the kid left the red carpet, and 2 of the teachers wanted a picture with him. And he jokingly says, "So which one of you is going to go back to my hotel with me?"
Oh, he just switched gears.
You know, he switched gears just like that.
But
he was beautiful. He was brilliant. He was lovely. A great, great guy.
That's such a great, those are great stories.
Yeah.
Love it. Cloris Leachman, was she sweet?
Cloris Leachman was sweet. She was just foul-mouthed, and she was very. Again, we got her toward the end of her. You know, she was very, 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 very frail when we got her when she was here. So it was a little bit tough because I had to walk her out on stage. She did not want people to see her in a wheelchair or a walker, so we had to very carefully take her out to stage and stuff. But she didn't want to miss this. You know, she was determined to be there with us. She was living up to her word. She was wonderful. You know, Richard Dreyfuss. I had one of my most sweet moments with Richard Dreyfuss. You know, when I was up on stage introducing the film, my very favorite Richard Dreyfuss film, I know this seems cheesy, but is Mr. Holland's Opus.
I love that
everyone
movie.
else says, you know.
No, I love that film.
Close Encounters, they say Jaws, all this kind of stuff. That film changed my life. I sat in the theater and sobbed after I saw that film for the first time, and that's when I realized I wanted to do something in film. It was before I was even running this festival.
Wow.
That I wanted to do something. I'm not a filmmaker. I don't have any knowledge. I don't have any training in it, but that film gave me the reason, like, that's what the power of cinema is, to change your life. So he was going to come for the Q&A. We were actually showing Mr. Holland's opus on this year. We were honoring him. And he was going to come for the Q&A. He had seen the film 100 times. But his wife, Svetlana, was in the audience with her friends. And she heard me give this amazing introduction of what his performance and what Mr. Holland's opus meant to me and the power of film. She called him up and said, Pat just gave you the most glowing introduction of your career. You have got to pay him back by giving him the best Q&A you've ever done.
That's awesome.
And he was extraordinary.
Well, he is. He's very passionate and he's very real. I mean, what you see is what you get, kind of thing.
Yeah. Michael Moore was somebody that, everyone knows him as this controversial filmmaker, and he likes to stir the pot and all this kind of stuff, and he gets blatant and in your face and all this, and is very opinionated and blah blah blah. He was a teddy bear. He came here and he was a teddy bear, and we showed 3 or 4 of his films, and he gave amazing Q&As that are typical Michael Moore. What the audience didn't see was he was an Eagle Scout. Oh. And he asked me, my son was about to become an Eagle Scout, so he asked me, could I meet with the Boy Scouts while I'm here? So while the people were watching one of his films, we had the Boy Scouts in the lobby of Harkins Theater, and he had a private meeting with them, and he said, please, no cameras. I'm not doing this for a publicity thing. So we had some people from the media were there. We didn't allow them to film it. We didn't allow them to take photos. He just wanted to talk to the Boy Scouts. And no one would believe that. No one would know that that's what he was doing. And
see, these are great stories. Yeah. Thank you for sharing
all
of this.
It meant the world to my son. My son is like, Dad, that was one of the coolest things I could have ever experienced.
I know, that is truly very generous and very real.
Yeah.
And then there are those that seem very real, and they are not. I know you've dealt with some devos.
Oh, yeah. Joan Collins was probably one of the most interesting. And Joan was just, and if she's listening to this, Joan, I love you. You know I love you. She was just so wonderful, and people were warning us like, oh, she's going to be high maintenance. She wasn't high maintenance. She was lovely. She actually went shopping in Sedona, bought a rug at Azadi and this kind of thing while she was here. But she has a husband who's significantly younger than her, and she was just not liking the chair he picked out for her to be on for her evening with Joan Collins. And it was the funniest thing because we didn't know this. We thought she kept getting up in the middle of her thing. She had a whole thing. We were going through her career in a retrospect and all that kind of stuff. And she was pacing the stage a lot. Well, after the show and the audience gave her a standing ovation, she was lovely. She's screaming at her husband, Percy, in the green room. You picked the effing wrong chair for me. That was so gosh darn uncomfortable. But she was using very colorful language. Screaming at him. She saw me come around the corner. She stopped screaming and she looks at me and she goes, hey, Pat, wasn't that lovely? Did you think your audience loved that? I'm so happy you had me here. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's just so weird to see her switch from one to the next. And then I walked away and she turns right back around and starts yelling at him about picking the wrong chair.
Showbiz.
Yeah.
Welcome to showbiz.
It's these funny behind the scenes things. Ann Mira and Jerry Stiller were the same way. Rest in peace, both of you. Ann was incredibly difficult because she just, God bless you, Ann. And Jerry was a big teddy bear. Jerry was just so delightful and wonderful, and he stayed on longer. She had to get back and host a Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS event. He actually took my daughter, Christina, who was 11 years old at the time, took her under his wing. She only knew him as Mr. Pinky from the Hairspray musical movie. She didn't know him from Seinfeld. She didn't know him from King of Queens. She didn't know him from any of his other work. She just thought that was cool that Dad runs a festival and I get to hang out with Mr. Pinky. Well, he got home and he sent us a FedEx package of 12 photographs autographed to each of my kids, a set for Kevin, a set for Christina, personally autographed from all the different roles that he talked about with them when he was here. So it was really, really wonderful. So some really fun things.
I just have to ask you, your kids growing up with their father, the executive director of a film festival. It's very high. This is a high-profile gig that you've got, right?
Yeah.
How did they feel? Like, were they okay with all this growing up?
They were, and they really actually loved it. And what's nice is they grew up working the festival.
Yes, I do know that. They're still
They both worked the concession stand at the theater and then turned into helping us at the festival. Kevin still flies back in from Washington, D.C. every year and helps us with decorations. Christina still helps us with the VIP management and hospitality, and she mingles with the filmmakers and helps them. and that kind of thing. And so they really, I think they'll grumble a little bit about, not having dad home all the time when they were growing up, blah, blah, blah. But I think they really secretly loved it because they do get to do a lot of things. I mean, we went out to Broadway a few weeks ago in New York and went backstage with Megan Hilty, who is now nominated for a Tony for Death Becomes Her. And she took us backstage to her dressing room, which used to be Nathan Lane's dressing room. And we went back with Ezekiel Andrew, who's in the cast of The Lion King. And all of those connections came because we were here.
So wonderful.
Funny Girl last year, we went before Funny Girl closed 2 years ago. Tova Feldschuh brought us backstage, and Christina got to say hello to Ramin Karimloo, which is one of her idols because he was in the cast. Those things happen because, again, it's who you know. And we showed them a great time here at the festival. This community showed them a great time. They remember that, and they invited us backstage.
You bet they do.
Yeah, so it's kind of a cool thing.
And I have to say that of all the festivals, and I was in 13 of them, okay, with my music video.
Yeah.
And this
Greed Incorporated.
Greed Incorporated.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have to say, this festival, you give so much to the people that are in this festival. Everybody talks about it, by the way. Like I'm hosting films, right? And when I'm hosting films during the festival, and that basically is emceeing and then asking questions of the filmmakers and the actors and all that afterwards, and they all say to me, this is the best festival. Yeah. They love the parties. They love the fact that the community comes in. They are constantly helping out, giving back. And it's a fantastic festival.
It's amazing.
It really is.
And thank you for saying that because, we are known. We just got rated just last fall one of the 25 coolest festivals in the world by Movie Maker magazine. And just last week, we were announced one of the 50 festivals in the world worth the entry fee.
Ooh, love it.
So now we carry two big titles from Movie Maker magazine, and that really helps us. And again, it comes back to this incredible community. We couldn't do this. We couldn't put that on if it wasn't for all these hotels donating us hotel rooms to put our filmmakers and our celebrity guests in. We couldn't do it without the restaurants donating meals in the VIP lounge, donating parties, the resorts and restaurants donating parties, and Seven Canyons and all these things, Enchantment, you name it. We've got such Lisa Dahl with what she does. All these people, I could go on and on and on and fill this podcast with name dropping because this community pulls out all the stops. It's so true. They pull out the red carpet, and our filmmakers feel that. They feel the love from this community for our festival. They feel the love from this community for the filmmakers. They feel it in the Q&As with the intelligent, sophisticated questions people are asking. It's amazing the feedback we get. I someday I keep saying I'm going to write a book, the high maintenance celebrities and the difficulties we had, and the amazing things we've heard from filmmakers, because there are some really wonderful and beautiful, beautiful stories.
You should write a book.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So. Yeah.
I want to say that you do have a great staff, wonderful volunteers, everybody that is involved, the whole community. And I just want to bring it back to you. You're as good as your leader, right?
Oh, thank you.
And they always say that. And they are a reflection of how you treat them and how you lead the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I have to say, you are the Pied Piper.
Well, thank you. Reba always has me, Reba Stone, our operations director, always has me kind of lead off the volunteer training things. And for 21 years now, going on 22 years, it'll be my 22nd festival, I've said the exact same thing. We are not curing cancer. We're not rocket scientists. We're in the entertainment business. Yes. We're putting on movies. This should be fun, and our audience needs to feel that nothing should be stressful. Let us take on the stress. We want you all to be beautiful advocates for us and ambassadors for us, and this should be fun. And if it's not fun, we don't get involved.
Which reminds me, one of the big things that I love about you, Pat, is you're very gracious. You always thank people. You are always thanking them. And you do it genuinely. You're very sincere about this. You really do appreciate it. I know that you're very bubbly. You've got a great personality, very upbeat, very fun. Energizer Bunny, you've heard this a million times. And have you ever lost your temper?
Oh man, yeah. I got to tell you, it takes a lot to get me to lose my temper.
Okay.
I mean, a lot.
So it has to be a really big thing. It has to be
a really, really, really big thing. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of ashamed. This happened I can't believe I remember the year, but 2014, we had just opened the Mary D. Fisher Theatre a couple years before, and we were showing one of our first or second National Theatre of London broadcasts. It's actually coming back as a re-release, A Streetcar Named Desire with Gillian Anderson. And nothing was going right tech-wise. We'd lose the sound. Then we'd have the sound and we'd lose the image. Like nothing was going well and we just couldn't fix it. And I come around the corner to go. We were giving the audience free wine, free popcorn because we were trying to figure out what was going on and we just couldn't get it right. And I came around the corner of my office and like, damn it, we're better than this. And I went, just putting my fist against the wall. And of course, it went right through.
Oh my God.
Right through the drywall.
Which wall was it? Was it behind the scenes?
It was behind the scenes. But I felt so guilty that the minute that happened, I'm staring at it going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I got a movie poster and I put it up over the hole. But then I had to look at that hole for
to remind you
2 or 3 months to remind me again, practice what I preach. We're in the movie business.
Well, you know what? You are human.
Supposed to be stressful.
You are human. There is nothing worse than tech going down.
Yeah,
there isn't. Been there and done it.
Yeah, there really isn't. And you just feel so helpless.
You do.
So I paid by myself, not the company. I paid to have the wall re-drywalled and done because I'm like, and that was kind of a living reminder to me. That was a thing that don't ever let it get you to push you this far.
Yes.
You know, there have been celebrity guests that have been difficult and they pushed me, this kind of thing. But you just go, all right, you got to do this. This is your job. And you've got to find a way to turn that into something wonderful. And most of them are so, so, so wonderful.
Yes, you don't deal with the heavy duty, creepy people.
And if you do, you know, you've got to go, you know, Police Chief Stephanie Foley said something really wonderful in a talk that I heard her say, because people were wondering, like, when you stop someone and they're difficult or whatever it is, what goes through your mind? Does that give you a different feeling of them? She goes, you know, I always realize people are having a bad day or there's something else happening. It's not about me. And I've just caught him at a bad time. So that's kind of how I
empathy, compassion.
That's right.
I love it. You are that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to have you back.
Oh,
I know
love to
there's
come back.
So many stories.
Oh my
I want
gosh.
to hear them all.
Yeah,
I just make a list. Okay, make a list.
I'd love to come back as often as you'll have me.
Oh, God. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Patrick Schweiss, Executive Director of the Sedona International Film Festival. Go check out all the films, the events, the theater things that are going on at the Mary D. Fisher Theater and the Alice Gill Sheldon Theater. Thank you, Pat.
Thanks, Shondra.
You can taste it in every bite. For over 30 years, Chef Lisa Dahl has redefined what it means to dine in Sedona, serving soulful, handcrafted cuisine inspired by love, artistry, and community. From the wood-fired kitchens of Mariposa to the couture flair of Butterfly Burger, every experience is elevated, every ingredient intentional. To learn more about Lisa Dahl and the Dahl restaurants, please visit cheflisadahl.com.
Need a clean car fast? Come to Quicker Cleaner Car Wash. We'll have you sparkling and back on the road in just minutes. Whether you're after a quick shine or a deep clean, you'll get top quality service, eco-friendly soaps, and smiles all around. Drive up, shine up, and feel good, all without slowing down your day. And look like a star in your car. Located in West Sedona on Highway 89A. For more information, visit quickercleanercarwash.com.
Here's more of Sedona's Backstage Pass with Shondra, presented by the Dahl Restaurant Group.
We are back. And Pat is still here. Why? Because I insisted, Pat, that you would close your eyes.
All right.
Because
all right. I'm
my next guest, I know, and you've got your eyes closed, and please do not peek.
All right.
Whatever you do, do not peek.
I trust you.
Oh, you do you?
Yeah, not really, but
Poor boy.
I'm going to go with it.
Poor boy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now keep your eyes closed, because right now someone is sneaking into the studio and is my next guest, who happens to be, I'll give you a little hint, my new presenting sponsor. You know what I'm talking about? You can open your eyes.
I do. Lisa Dahl.
Hey, Lisa Dahl.
Hey, gang.
The greatest restaurateur anywhere.
Absolutely.
Anywhere around this world.
It's
right
true.
here in the studio with me.
Shondra, I'm so psyched to be on this. This is so
awesome.
exciting.
This is exciting to have the two of you here, because now you guys are a little like brother and sister, I understand.
We kind of are. This could be dangerous.
You love
Shondra.
each other, and you want to hit each other, sometimes with a spoon. Something.
Pretty
maybe
much.
like
Well,
that. Is that
yes and no. The thing is, Patrick knows what he can get away with, and in many ways he gets away with murder because he knows he's charming. He knows that I have a hard time saying no to him when he puts me on the spot. Of course, he has a little wife that also is his partner in crime. And when they gang up on me, sometimes I cave. I did cave. This time to the fundraising at the Sedona
Talk about that. Patrick, talk about it.
So
Tell us what happened.
And I can't tell you how excited I am to be in the same studio with Lisa because, and as much as we kid each other, she's so extraordinary. And every day, every month, every year, she proves herself to be more extraordinary. And I just want the community to know this because I want people to know how generous and how giving and how wonderful she is because we host a fundraising event every year, our gala at Enchantment Resort, to raise funds for the film festival. And every year, Lisa has given us generously gift cards and experiences at a restaurant, this kind of thing. So last year, 2 years ago, she offered to come in and do a chef's dinner in your home for 8 people. And the bidding was going so well. And my wife knows that I like to double sell things if it's going all that well, but I hadn't approved this with Lisa before. So Liz goes, sell 2 of them. And I'm like, I can't put her on the spot, but you can. Go ask her. So Liz went over and said, Lisa, Pat wants to sell this twice. And generously, she said, absolutely yes. So she created 2 incredible experiences last year in people's homes that she was doing. And then this year, I asked her back and I actually forewarned her. I'm like, Lisa, you're so generous. She immediately agreed to give this again. I said, I'm probably going to sell 2 of them. Are you okay with that? I don't want to put you on the spot. And she goes, oh, you're similar to what she just said. Who can say no to me? Blah, blah, blah.
So you actually know that you have
this. Because you've told me.
Very aware of this.
So the bidding just goes up and up and up and up. And pretty soon there's 3 people vying for it at the end. And I did put her on the spot a little bit and said, can we sell 3? And she said, yes, absolutely sell 3. And the audience went crazy. I mean, this is incredibly generous. Nobody does that. I mean, that's amazing. So the evening ended and Ken and Liz Carroll, who are part of the ownership of Seven Canyons, came to me in the lobby and said, do you think Lisa would give a 4th package? We'll match that and we will buy a 4th package. And I'm like, all right, she's already given me 3. She's gone to her restaurant for the evening. And I left Enchantment when we were done setting up, and I knew she and Scott would probably be sitting in their favorite table eating at Dahl and DeLuca. And I'm like, I've just got to ask her now because I need to know if this is going to happen. And I walked in the restaurant, and I think I probably said, Lisa, how much do you love me?
And I said, oh.
Yeah, I know. And Scott knew right away this was going to be trouble. And I explained what it was. And again, without missing a beat, without hesitating, because it was to benefit the film festival and she knew it was important to me and that meant a lot to me, she said, absolutely yes. So Lisa Dahl donated 4 extraordinary dining packages to benefit the Sedona Film Festival. And these are not just like, come to my restaurant and have dinner. This is Lisa Dahl picking out, personally crafting the menu, personally being there for all of the courses. She and David Dimmler pair the right wines with each of the courses. It's an experience.
You have to tell us what you did. Tell us about that dinner.
Last week you hosted the first one.
The minute that you tell us, Pat is going to ask you at the next.
Could I have 6 of them for next year?
No.
6 of them. Wow, so that was a little pushing, a little bit. But
you're getting a little nervy on my dime here, baby. It really was. It was a joy to extend myself to that wonderful group of individuals, and the fact that they are. They're patrons of ours, as well as they really support the Sedona International Film Festival, and they love you, obviously. But it's also an expression of creativity for me to be able. It's one of those things that if you're going to do it right or don't do it at all. Now, one thing that we want to back up is that I told you that doing these type of events in private homes, it adds another dimension of very difficult aspect to this because it's very hard to, unless you know what we do, to put together this beautiful performance with the servers, with the different accoutrement, each course articulated with all that demands, right. Plateware, china, every single thing, change of plates per course, and wines, etc. Doing it in private home is almost like adding the biggest stress bomb to the function. That being said, you roped me into one that evidently, unless I can use my power of persuasion.
And you are very persuasive.
And I can talk to them, or they can have lasagna, Caesar salad, and grilled focaccia and tiramisu.
Sounds good.
To do the type of accoutrement that I did, so I'll give you a real quick snapshot.
Okay.
They started at Mariposa, and I did at Sunset. And they had this wonderful gathering of them in an area that they could take in the view. We did spend the Latin tapas. I did a very light, like a tuna tartare, little lettuce wrap with tropical flavor elements that went with the wine beautifully. And I did a spot of gazpacho because it was at the very beginning of the gazpacho season, which we don't do until May. Because it has to be warm enough, right?
And your gazpacho is extraordinary.
Thank you. And I know your son.
My son, it's his favorite thing. He covets it.
Kevin wants to take home.
He does.
And I sometimes give him like a quart to savor. So it touches my heart because seeing that a younger person has that kind of a healthy choice, and it is healthy, to say the truth. We could talk about gazpacho probably the entire segment because it's so full of antioxidants and all the good stuff. But nonetheless, we started with that. They had a sparkling Malbec rosé. They had sangria, and then they left. We had them picked up and transported to Dahl and DeLuca. There, I did a 6-course chef's meal that started with delicacies that went along with the wines. They started with actually an incredible magnum of a Roederer champagne. Wow. A rosé champagne to go with a smoked salmon and a beautiful goat cheese fennel slaw, like a little plate of a very much a delicacy. Then they went into, I remember so much the course that they loved was the asparagus leek bisque. And it's not that easy to pair wines with an asparagus course. Right. But David Dimler, who's been with me for 22 years, he chose the perfect Italian white wine that complements. You could never do a red wine. You couldn't even really do a rosé with the asparagus leek bisque because of the green notes. Sure. And so that went perfect. And then we moved into the bigger courses. But I try to tie the salad in with the next course, which is something, and yes, my job is to make you hungry, and I'm sorry, but that is my job.
I'm so hungry right now.
And I am going to make you even more hungry because we have an item that we started many, many, many years ago, which is called affinato.
Oh,
you've probably had it.
I had it last night.
Oh, did you?
What is
bad
this?
boy?
What is
affinato is really, it's a labor of love, but it's also a wine pairing's dream. Because
go ahead. I'm like,
it's radicchio leaves that are kind of coated on the inside with a fig marmalade. Then the cheeses inside, rolled up like a little bambini, like a little diaper, and wrapped and secured with prosciutto. So when it grills,
so flavorful.
And when it grills, you have sweet, salty, savory, a little bitter from the radicchio, and I put that on a bed of arugula. So you had all the elements that paired perfectly with the next wine, so forth and so on. I could talk.
It was.
I know. Seriously,
the people who bought the Lutolds, who bought this package and brought their guests, raved that it was the best, most extraordinary wine dinner experience they've ever had, and they do a lot of these, and it was so appreciated. You're amazing.
You just made a movie, didn't you? You had this beautiful film. I saw it at Sedona Performing Arts Center. It was in the festival. You've got to tell everybody about it. I saw it. It's gorgeous. A wonderful film. Tell everybody.
Well, that's a big pill to swallow.
I know.
It's really an expose of what led me to coming to Sedona, and the bittersweet nature of the loss of Justin, and being guided to come to Sedona back in the early days. I didn't come to Sedona to open a restaurant. Many people see me that perhaps I came here to so-called build an empire. I think that the film really showed the inner passion and why the food and hospitality also filled my cup in a way that was a healing for me. And so the film was about not just being a restaurateur, it's the purpose behind that. And I think that many people sense that they got to know a little bit more about who I am on a deeper level. It's a very emotional film. People came up to me, still very teary-eyed, telling me how much it touched their hearts as parents and as people that, I think they got to really see who Justin was also. So that was really the purpose of the film. It started as an initial shorter documentary, which would have been 15 minutes or less in that Shondra.
Right.
And Patrick said, it isn't a 15-minute short documentary. It's got to be lengthened to be able to tell.
Yes, it was you, Pat, that said that. And by the way, the movie is called Blessed by Grace, and you've got to find a way to see it. Where can they see it? Where can people see this film? Is it out yet, or is it going to different film festivals? I know you're.
It will be.
It will be out. Yes, it has been submitted to film festivals in its early stage.
Right.
It's been actually accepted graciously, and I'm so excited to also hear, besides just the Sedona International Film Festival, it was recently in the Illuminate Film Festival.
Beautiful.
Which is an extension of our Sedona Hearts in Santa Barbara. It was an online film. I wasn't there live, but there was an amazing situation that took place, which is that a medium, Suzanne Gleesman, kind of became an intermediary because she had brought stories from Justin, from the other side, of things that she had experienced when she had been in Sedona. And she was one of the features because of her film in the film festival, Illuminate Film Festival. So that became a really special adjunct to the film being shown. Evidently, it got a great response. It ended only on May 11th, so it's very current. That I don't know all the feedback, but I am going to find out how it was received.
Well, it's a beautiful movie, and I wanted more. Yeah. And it was this amazing that Lisa has this movie about her life, about Justin. And I love it because we do get a chance to see you. That's one of the things I'm so excited about you being on my show once a month and sometimes two, is to get to know you and let other people in this community and actually around the world, because we're being heard as far away as Spain and Greece. It was heard last week in Greece and Spain. So here's the thing. You're going to get to find out about who Lisa is, not just her restaurants, not just her passion for food, but who she is, generous and wonderful person. Yeah. How did you feel about the fact that there was a movie you could put into the Sedona International Film Festival?
And, Lisa and I, as we've said, we go way back. She's been a sponsor for many, 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 many years and a friend for many, many years. So for the fact that she was having this movie being done, I was so honored that we were able to premiere it. And I was so honored to be on this journey with her, because when she had said, when it was going to be under 15 minutes, I'm like, there's more to your story. There's no way they're going to get that in 15 minutes or less. It's got to be longer, because there's such a rich story here, as you've mentioned. We get to see Lisa Dahl, the human.
Yes.
In addition to Lisa Dahl, the extraordinary chef that we all know and love, this really was what makes you who you are. And it was so beautiful to see that theater was so full.
Oh, it was.
And the love that was pouring out from people in the Q&A.
Oh,
and the people whose lives you touched was really kind of outstanding to witness. And there's even more to this story. So, I mean, this is something that's just so ongoing and so beautiful and so wonderful. So I was honored that we were able to do that. I was honored with what you did and the food experience afterwards. And there's going to be more of that, more to come, which we will be announcing on this podcast, I'm sure, at a later date.
Excited
with an
about
extraordinary
that.
event at Mariposa in the fall.
And I just want to pick up on what you said. You had people standing up for the Q&A, and they were not just asking you questions. They were like testimonials to your generosity and to your soups, to your foundation, to all that you bring to people that nobody knows about. When people are not well, you have delivered soups. You've been there yourself and given. I mean, I don't know if we want to mention Lou. I'm just saying he stood up and he gave. I was blown away. The audience was blown away about how
the beautiful
he was very
testimonials.
ill and how you made sure to get those soups to him. It touched me. And then we had another woman who stood up and talked. Do you remember this? Because it was probably
of course I remember.
I was going to say it had to have been overwhelming for you.
No, it was overwhelming on both of those shares. There were other shares, but those shares have been brought out by many people I've talked to in the aftermath that they recall those stories, and it really got to them. In the case with Lou, it was back many, many, many years ago, but he is the first to say that he went through a devastating throat cancer.
It was devastating.
So at that time, after being on radiation and chemo, your taste buds are gone. As a matter of fact, even being able to swallow things, you don't feel that you want to eat, really, quite honestly. And I'll never forget, because I love his wife also, and when she came to me, I said, listen, we can make small portions that can be frozen of the nutritious soups, but not put the seasonings, not put any spice, but give them enough of a palate to get him back into the infancy of wanting to taste food again. Because I always say, when you lose your taste buds, you are in the end stage of life. If it's not your time, and if we can stimulate that desire to eat because food starts to be palpable to you, then that starts to grow you like a new flower springing in the springtime, blooming in the springtime. You have to start stimulating on the root level. And it was so gratifying to me at that time, knowing that soups could actually fulfill that. Now, by the same token, I talk about this all the time in my cookbook, A Romance with Food. The soup chapter header wrote itself through me. It was one chapter header that I didn't even have to really struggle with, because I have seen the miracle of soups and what they can do to a despondent patient. I've also, to be quite honestly, it's equally as poignant to see that when people are closing their lives chapter and they still are eating something, but they cannot eat anything complex, but they need that comfort. Soups can also be something that kind of nurses them through that transition in a peaceful way. So food really does matter. And I feel that soups are more than just soups. They are something that can sustain life in people that have nothing to eat. And my goal is that our foundation will be able to sustain life in devastated causes and across the world someday through in that time frame, perhaps a dehydrated form of the soups that we make, but that you could bring those soups to impoverished countries, war-torn countries, and bring people some hope. And that's why I'm calling the foundation is in my name, but Soup Hope, the universal soup of love.
Love that.
That's beautiful.
You know, I have to say, I'm a major soup fan, and you're right. I'm just the soups, anything that I've just made myself. You know, if I'm feeling I can need that comfort, I need something to just kind of make me feel like, oh, it's comfort food, right?
That's right.
I can only imagine what your soups are like. I have to try one.
Well, you
have to bring
will,
some.
and I'll bring it to you. I will say this, and it wasn't meant to be an infomercial, but ironically, you're bringing this thought up to me that the Pizza Lisa in the village has them frozen in pints and quarts.
Ooh.
But Soup Hope itself is a gluten-free and plant-based soup. Ooh. No one would believe it. So the actual Soup Hope is almost like a light stew, but it has 27 amino acids through the heirloom beans and all the organic vegetables. So everyone can actually eat it.
I love that.
And so that's the baby steps that we have of, here in Sedona to start getting that consciousness out that you can purchase it. But any soup that is sold through our restaurants, we give the profits to our foundation to start building that muscle memory that we are always in need of the funds to donate to other organizations.
Wonderful. Are you serving Soup Hope at all the restaurants? I know we had it at Cucina Rustica. Are they? Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't know because we do.
Wonderful, by the way.
We are not as hot soup driven going into this time of the season, but we are. People eat soups year round, and as we know, in Latin countries, you eat soup whether it's hot out or not. It's a meal. And I believe that Soup Hope is more like that. It's more of what you would think you could make a full meal out of because of the nutritional value. So, yes, it is available not on a regular basis as it will be in the fall and the winter. Now we go into light soups. Mm-hmm. We go into vegetable-based soups and gazpacho and things like that.
I am absolutely starving right now. This conversation has been amazing. Really, what a heart you have. And to have both of you here together is such a gift. You're surprised.
And it wasn't planned. And I love that kind of stuff. I hate scripted things.
Right.
I don't do well with that.
Very, very happy accident, a very happy surprise.
Yes. Excellent. Yes. So thank you both so much. I have to have both. Well, I have to have you both here again together because this is like amazing to me. It's like we could go on and on and on.
We're kind of fun because we haven't addressed her FOMO yet. So that's
I know. That's next.
Next time we get to address.
That is next. You are going to have to tune in again to hear about what FOMO means to Pat and Lisa. So Lisa Dahl, Chef Lisa, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being my presenting sponsor. Thank you, Patrick, for being here, Sedona International Film Festival. You're welcome. Tune in again, okay? Because we're going to have them back.
And I'm not going to always let you crash my party here, baby.
That's right.
But
she's going to lock the door next time.
This could not have been more fun, and what a great lead-in to what is to come.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because the subjects are just going to expand upon, but it always comes down to, in food, we trust.
Thank you so much, and we will be right back.
You've explored the trails, stood in awe of the red rocks. Now, discover how Sedona became Sedona. The Sedona Heritage Museum tells the story of Red Rock country, from ancient cultures to today's vibrant community. It's interactive, family-friendly, and open year-round, indoors and out. Sedona Heritage Museum, preserving and sharing the soul of Red Rock country. Plan your visit at sedonamuseum.org or call 928-282-7038.
When your project demands precision, experience, and trust, turn to Sefton Engineering Consultants. From expert civil engineering to construction management, we deliver real-world solutions that stand the test of time. With over 30 years in the business, Luke Sefton's team is committed to getting your project done right, on time, and on budget. Sefton Engineering Consultants. Reliable, experienced, personal. Learn more at SeftonEngineeringConsultants.com.
Take a deep breath and let it go. At Sedona's New Day Spa, your escape begins the moment you arrive. Enjoy luxurious massages, rejuvenating facials, and native-inspired body treatments, all nestled in a peaceful creekside setting beneath Sedona's Red Rock beauty. Voted Sedona's Best Day Spa, this is more than self-care. It's your sanctuary. Book your experience today at SedonaNewDaySpa.com.
Here's more of Sedona's Backstage Pass with Shondra, presented by the Dahl Restaurant Group.
Well, thank you for staying with me, and I've just been thrilled with my guests today. Weren't they wonderful? We know what this music means. It's time for me to do my shameless Shondra spot. So last week, I shared with all of you about this movie that my creative partner, Dev Ross, and I are making finally after a little over 5 years of working on this. It does take a while. And I plugged it as WeirdDetention.com was the movie. No. The movie is Weird Detention. You go to WeirdDetention.com to read about it, see videos about it, and find out why we are making this movie. We are all about helping kids, actually tweens, 11 through teens to about 15, 16 years old, to teach them in a musical and fun edutainment way about how to communicate with nonviolent communication with the intention to stop the violence before it happens. But why am I bringing this up again? Because I want to do a shout out to Amy Foltz, who is the administrator at the Sedona Charter School, for actually this last week giving us our set. They are our in-kind sponsor for our film set. So thank you, Amy, so much. Thank you to Sedona Charter School. We so appreciate it. You have no idea how important this is. You can't make a movie if you don't have a set. And also to Gerardo of Gerardo's Pizzeria, who will be doing the catering, and also Beth's Culinary for her catering for our breakfast. And we're just thrilled to have them as our in-kind sponsors. And if you do want to make a donation, you still have time. We're actually going to be doing an online sort of fundraiser, if you will. And so be kind of looking on that. We'll be looking on WeirdDetention.com for that. And we also have a fiscal sponsor. So they are called the Artist Forum, and we're so thrilled they're in New York City. And because they are our fiscal sponsor, we can give you a tax deduction when you make a donation. So thanks for checking it out. Our movie's going to be Weird Detention, and the site again is WeirdDetention.com. Well, before we sign off, I want to thank all of you listeners for taking your time out today to listen to Sedona's Backstage Pass. And I also want to give a big shout out and thank you to Executive Director Patrick Schweiss of the Sedona International Film Festival. If you want to see some wonderful indie films, just make sure that you go to Mary D. Fisher Theater, Alice Gill Sheldon Theater, right here in West Sedona. They have lineups of fabulous indie films and some that aren't indies. You have to kind of check it out. Make sure that you go to SedonaFilmFestival.com. You can see all of the movies coming up and the special events. And of course, I want to thank my presenting sponsor, the Dahl Group, and Chef Lisa Dahl for being here today. It was so much fun to have both of them here. And remember, she has fabulous restaurants here in Sedona and a great movie. You got to check it out, okay? Well, I'm going to tell you next week you have to tune in because I've got some great guests and I don't want to give it away, but I will tell you one, and that's Susie Showmaker. She's going to be on and she's going to sing us something. You know, she's been performing music at a new, it's a happening that's going on Sundays from 9:30. I think it's 9:30, maybe it's 10:30. 10:30, I believe, 10:30 to 12. And it's called the Church of Blues at the Old Town Center for the Arts in the Studio B venue that's part of Old Town Center for the Arts. It's free. You don't have to give anything, nothing. But let me just tell you, this is so much fun. You show up and sing. It's all it is. Singing the blues, playing instruments. You can get up and sing with everybody. And we're going to hear from Susie next week. And our other special guest, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to have you tune in. Sedona's Backstage Pass right here at Mellow Mountain Radio 106.5 FM and 780 AM. And of course, you can always check the shows out on their website as well as Apple Podcasts. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next week.